morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Blaine Brockman. I'm the chairman of the board of the Community Housing Network, and I want to welcome you to this grand opening of Hawthorn Grove. I was driving in, as everybody was driving in today, lamenting the miserable conditions, and I thought I ought to say something about that. And it occurred to me, and I want you to think about this as you go through this morning and as you look at this beautiful space, what it would feel like if you didn't have a space like this. If you were out on a morning like this morning, what your life would, the despair and the fear that you would feel on a morning like this heading into what we know will be a little more difficult weather in months to come. And I think that's what I wanted to leave you with. As I was complaining in my nice warm vehicle about the truck in front of me that didn't seem to be going fast enough, I thought, I'm passing people right now who would love to be in this space. So we'll get started with our program. I'd like to thank the funders who've made Hawthorn Grove possible and for making a tremendous contribution to making a difference in the lives of people with mental illness. I want to thank you for helping vulnerable people in this community, men and women, have a new home and a new start. And you'll hear from some of our funders in a little bit. Most of you were at this site when we broke ground last year. What an amazing transformation. I wasn't here that day, but I actually, my optometrist is across the street, and I remember. It was a vacant lot, not particularly attractive, not particularly a contributing feature to the community here. And we've transformed this into a beautiful development that will provide hope and help for residents for many years to come. Before we move on, I'd like to recognize some of our elected officials who've joined us today. We have Mayor Michael Coleman, Commissioner Marilyn Brown, Appellate Judge Gary Tyak is in the place somewhere. Hiding back here. You're never hiding, Gary. And have I missed anybody? I would also like to recognize the CHN board members who are here. Would the board members who are here stand up and be recognized? I see Jay Shaw, Gary Tyak, again, board member. Anybody else? And most importantly, I'd like to recognize the staff of CHN because they're the people that really do all of the hard work. Would you all stand up and be recognized, please? Today marks Community Housing Network's 6th new tax credit, new construction tax credit development that we've taken from concept to blueprint to construction to move-in. We're proud of all of our supportive housing developments. But I'm especially delighted with this one for the beautiful and seamless way that Hawthorn Grove harmonizes and enhances the surrounding properties. The first time I came by Hawthorn Grove, it had been completed, and I really almost drove by. It integrates so well into this community, and that's such an important part of making this a successful property and a successful home for the people here. We're delighted to be part of a new neighbor with the Columbus Discovery District, and I'd like representatives from Bernardi Partners Architects and Rockford Construction to stand up and be recognized. Thank you very much. This development spans the tenure of 2 leaders at Community Housing Network. Our first CEO and founder, Susan Weaver, who I think, is she in the room yet? She's stuck in traffic, I think. She's going to be here celebrating with us today. And our current Chief Executive Officer since May is Samantha Schuler, here to my right. And it's my pleasure to turn the podium over to Samantha for a few moments.
Thank you, Blaine. Today is a very exciting day for CHN's Board of Trustees and staff as we officially open the doors to Hawthorn Grove, and thank you on behalf of our residents. As our theme says, hope begins at Hawthorn, and indeed, 40 residents since June have made Hawthorn their home and are taking the next steps on their journey to health and well-being. Residents come to us burdened and disabled from years of mental illness, often compounded with other challenges. With the stabilizing force of Hawthorn Grove's enveloping support, they can better navigate to recovery, stabilize their lives, and find self-sufficiency. Stable housing, exemplified by Hawthorn Grove, is the first step to recovery and a life of hope and healing. I think of supportive housing like a ladder. The first thing we do with the ladder is to set it securely on the ground. Then we tentatively test the first step. Then we take the next step, and eventually we climb all the rungs to the top. But we only maintain our balance and ascend because we first have secured our base, our foundation of support. Our development partners, together with our service partners, are the light in the darkness for vulnerable people we serve. With your support, the men and women of Hawthorn Grove will get the treatment that leads to recovery, discover joy in their success, and find hope in an uplifting home in the hands of people who care. And speaking of people who care, leads us to the Community Leadership Award presentation. Blaine, I invite you to join me at the podium to present this special honor.
Thank you, Sam. The Community Housing Network created the Community Leadership Award in 2009. The award honors great achievements, and as such has only been awarded once prior to today. It was awarded to Dennis Guest as he retired from the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority. Today is my honor to present the Community Housing Award to a monumental champion of affordable housing in Columbus, Mayor Michael Coleman. Mayor, you take great pride in being known as the America's Housing Mayor. Your dedication to downtown residential development is widely recognized, but CHN honors you today for your unparalleled commitment to housing for all people in Columbus, regardless of their means or their abilities. In short, your legendary swagger to affordable housing development is noted. Here are some of the outstanding achievements in the mayor's 12 years as the mayor of Columbus.
16.
I thought it was more than 12. When I saw 12,
That's old.
my apologies.
That's okay.
It's gone so fast.
Very well.
16 years as the mayor of Columbus. As you listen, it's obvious why Mayor Coleman is deserving of this honor. He served as a founding board member of the Community Housing Network. He's crafted budgets that have invested in a permanent supportive housing and in homeless shelters. He created the Affordable Housing Trust. He created a cabinet position of Director of Homeless Advocacy and Social Services. He initiated reinvestment efforts in Franklinton, Wyland Park, and many other neighborhoods. And as an old Hilltopper, I want to thank you for that. I always got to plug the Hilltop. He developed the Home Again program to mitigate the effects of vacant and blighted buildings in Columbus. He has supported zoning changes that have made siting affordable housing much easier. Mayor, since Hawthorn Grove may be the last supportive housing development to open under your term as Mayor of Columbus, today is a perfect time to thank you for your leadership and vision that began way back in 1987 when you were a member of the board of the Community Housing Network. I'm going to read the inscription. Bear with me, I got to get it the right distance. Community Leadership Award presented to Mayor Michael B. Coleman, City of Columbus, for your dedication in helping individuals and families transform their lives through affordable and supportive housing, October 28, 2015.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
On behalf of CHN, our project partners, and especially our 2,000 plus residents, we say a heartfelt thank you, Mayor Coleman, for your efforts in affordable housing and for the great job you've done in the 16 years as the mayor of this city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, thank you very much. I'm humbled and I'm honored. This is a great organization, CHN. How do I know that? Because I helped start it. Gosh, 28 years ago, almost 30 years ago. Boy, that's a long time ago. And I can remember Susan Weaver over there. Our first act, as I recall, was to open a bank account. And then we started, what do we do? How do we do this? Where do we look? How do we finance? What partners are created? What sensitivities do we have in the neighborhoods that we go into? Let's do this thing right. Start it from scratch. Nothing but a hope, nothing but desire. An outstanding executive director in the name of Susan Weaver. And I think now it's 1,800 units over the past 28 years, helping and serving some thousands of folks who have mental health challenges and disabilities over that period of time. It's a lot of work we need to do in the area of mental health. Lots of work needs to happen in the area of mental health beyond the work that we're doing in housing. The work we're doing in housing is working, but I hope in time at the state level and at the national level, they continue to refine and improve a mental health system in the state of Ohio so that it impacts Columbus in a positive way and those people who need it as well. There's work that needs to be done. And so this particular project, $500,000 is our contribution to this effort. We have folks from the city that have been great partners here, Rita Priest and Steve Shoney over there, and several others who work on this every day. Affordable housing is important. There's still a lot of work to be done there as well. Too many people in this city struggle. Not having affordable shelter, it costs too much. And we're working to improve that. My hope is that the next administration will take on housing as one of the chief efforts of the city of Columbus. Continue what we've been doing and maybe even bump it up to make sure that we're addressing all the needs of affordable housing in the city of Columbus. I want to thank you. I'm very honored, very humbled, and God bless you, and sorry about the rain.
I'm going to turn the podium back over to Sam Schuler.
I'm a little shorter than the mayor there. Thank you, Mayor Coleman. We hope that you will continue to stay involved with affordable housing issues as you transition to a new career. Nearly one half of the $7 million required to get Hawthorn Grove off the ground came from two critically important sources: the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County. Our first speaker, Tracy Plauk, Director of the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, has been instrumental in creating state mental health policy that encompasses housing as a vital component in supporting individuals' resilience and recovery. Tracy and her staff have been strong collaborators with us and the Franklin County Adam H. Board as we preserve and expand affordable supportive housing that is foundational to our residents' stability, independence, and hopefulness. Please welcome Director Tracy Plauk.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to start out by just letting you know, if you're not aware, our department is a cabinet-level agency. We have about 2,600 staff, and we provide direct treatment through our state psychiatric hospitals, in Ohio's prisons, and other places. We do funding with community ADAM boards and agencies around the state. We advocate on behalf of individuals who need more services and supports, and we also regulate the behavioral health system in Ohio. As a part of that, though, housing is critically important. If you are living unsheltered or you do not have safe and affordable housing, you can't really focus on your recovery, whether it's from substance use disorder or mental illness, or oftentimes both. And I want to congratulate CHN not only on this huge accomplishment, but on being really a leader statewide. Early in the administration, CHN came in and they had a bunch of ideas about how we as the state agency could make it easier for housing developers to operate in Ohio. And we were able to implement some of those changes, and I think that shows leadership not only on behalf of the agency, but on behalf of other developers around the state. I also wanted to recognize the leadership of the Franklin County Board. Through our very collaborative relationship with them, we were able to discern how the state might be able to invest almost $1.2 million into this project. And so I just want to recognize the folks at the board for their continuing leadership. Housing is critically important, and I think that Franklin County offers an excellent example for other communities around the state, as Medicaid provides more clinical services throughout Ohio for individuals who are under 138% of poverty. The ADAM boards and even the state have been able to put more emphasis on recovery supports, including housing, employment services, peer services, prevention also. And so this has helped us to continue to work toward filling some of the long-standing gaps that have existed in our system. So progress continues, but I think that this is an excellent milestone this morning and we need to celebrate. So thank you.
Thank you, Tracy and others in Governor Kasich's administration for supporting affordable housing options in Ohio. Naturally, when you think of the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County, what comes to mind are all the services that are crucial to recovery, including one-on-one counseling and substance abuse recovery support. And yes, with Adam H. and Concord Counseling Services as our service partners, Hawthorn Grove residents will have support as they face their challenges. But under David Royer's leadership, the Adam H. Board has deepened its impact even further by investing capital funds in Hawthorn Grove in the bricks and mortar construction. Here to speak on behalf of the Adam H. Board is the chair of the Board of Trustees, Derek Anderson.
Well, good morning. Good morning. That's like I'm in a church, so I just wanted to get the feedback there. Certainly on behalf of the Adam H. Board of Franklin County Board of Trustees, we are proud of our successful relationship with Community Housing Network that spans more than 25 years. It is my pleasure to represent the Board of Trustees on this special occasion as we welcome 40 residents into their new home filled with hope and expectation for better lives ahead. As the latest permanent supportive housing to open in Franklin County, Hawthorn Grove is part of the Adam H's system's continuum of housing, from residential care on one end to independent housing on the other. Our vision for housing is for consumers to have access to safe, and affordable housing that matches their level and pace of recovery. And with Hawthorn Grove, CHN is clearly a great partner in helping us realize this vision. Our ability to help fund Hawthorn Grove is so important to Franklin County, and let me give you 2 reasons why. First, most of the residents here were previously hospitalized, and without CHN housing, these individuals may have been discharged into a shelter or to the streets. It follows that when we keep people from becoming homeless, we help people recover and live healthy, productive lives. Secondly, supportive housing like Hawthorn Grove provides a foundation for the efficient and cost-effective delivery of services that were provided in conjunction with Concord Counseling. Because we can bring the case management and life skills training to the residents right here in this building, offering services more efficient for us and also more convenient for the residents. As I conclude, I want to point out that our collaboration with the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services under the leadership of Director Plout allows Adam H. to supply local matched dollars. And that is made possible because Franklin County voters give us the authority with the passage of the levy in 2005. And speaking of levies, we are counting on you to get the word out to other mental health advocates to support issue 14. That's it, issue 14, the Adam H. Renewal Levy on Tuesday, November the 3rd. Our goal is to add more units of permanent supportive housing like Hawthorn Grove in our community, and we need every vote to continue to make that happen. Thank you so much, and we look forward to a continued partnership.
Derek, I hope you will share your gratitude with your fellow board members. And the rest of you, please go to the polls next Tuesday and vote yes on issue 14 to ensure continued access to treatment and prevention of mental illness in Franklin County. I'm pleased to introduce another leader at the forefront of shaping Ohio's public policy that makes the link between affordable housing and the state's economic vitality. And that's Doug Garver, Executive Director of the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. Doug, please come forward and say a few words.
Good morning. On this gray but very special day, it is a particular honor to be here to take part in this celebration that marks the grand opening of Hawthorn Grove. OFA, as many of you in this tent know, is the administrator of Ohio's Housing Credit Program, which is at its source a federal tool that is responsible for, is the primary funder for affordable housing, not only in Ohio, but across the country. But more particularly, and you can see it by the list of partners behind me, it is in fact a partnership. It's a partnership of developers and investors and lenders and state and federal funders, local communities and community-based organizations that has created and preserved here in our great state more than 105,000 affordable rental housing units since 1987. In recent years, basically going back about 6 or 7 years ago, our agency has made permanent supportive housing a priority in the housing credit program. This underscores OFA's commitment to help the most vulnerable persons gain access to safe, high-quality housing, and it also recognizes the positive impact that special needs housing has on the greater good of the community, like right here on the Near East Side of Columbus. I would also like to note that the Community Housing Network is a very trusted partner. Mayor, you mentioned 1,800 units. Sam, that actually makes CHN the largest developer and manager of permanent supportive housing in Ohio, helping those who need it the most. Thank you for the great work that you do. CHN is a true leader in providing hope and changing lives, and Hawthorn Grove is yet another great example of this organization's ability to bring together so many partners to a particular site and produce service-enriched housing for persons with severe and persistent mental illness. On that basis, OFA is very pleased and proud to have provided CHN $230,000 in housing tax credits annually for 10 years, a $3.5 million multifamily bond, and $1.75 million loan that was capitalized with unclaimed funds from the State Department of Commerce. And all of those funds, together with all the other funders who are presenting today, combined to complete the project financing for Hawthorn Grove and facilitate the construction, the new construction, something OFA is very, very pleased about, of 40 units of safe, decent, affordable housing. OFA congratulates the entire development team, CHN, all of the funders, and the service providers for your commitment to our shared mission and your ability to make a difference in the lives of those who will call this beautiful place home. Likewise, when I drove by this morning, wow, what a wonderful, wonderful project. We are very proud to be a partner. We look forward to future opportunities to work with you. Thanks for a job well done.
Doug, thank you for being an outspoken advocate in state government for investing resources in housing for our most vulnerable citizens. As many of our tenants work for recovery, many find their wages are not nearly enough to cover the cost of housing. That's where the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority comes in, to fill the gap to help residents afford a home at Hawthorn Grove. In fact, all 40 units are rent subsidized by CMHA. Please join me in thanking Ron Lebsock, Senior Vice President of Housing.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me out there? Yeah. Okay, got to get this adjusted. So on behalf of the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority, the Board of Commissioners, Charles Hillman, our CEO and President, and the CMHA team, I want to congratulate the Community Housing Network on the opening of Hawthorn Grove. CMHA's mission is to serve the community by helping people access affordable housing. By working with our collaborative partners, we develop, we renovate, and maintain housing, promote neighborhood revitalization, and assist residents in accessing needed social services. Hawthorn Grove perfectly embodies the spirit of that mission, where we have partnered with a great organization like CHN to open the doors of a beautiful permanent supportive housing facility for the Columbus community, landmarking the commitment of all of those gathered today, all the funders, all the housing people, everybody that has had vision, our city government, to provide for those in need the housing that they need as well as the supportive services. Last night I was showing my wife this program, drawing attention to the very impressive speaker list. And as a good spouse would be, she's like, "Oh, you are very important, aren't you?" Isn't that what spouses are supposed to do? Well, that wasn't really what I was looking for, but I was humbled in the process. So I had to excuse myself to ponder that question a little bit farther. And what I concluded is that among the very important people that are here, there were two that I felt worth noting in particular. The first set is the important people, the first set of important people is the visionaries. And they are the ones who looked at a parking lot and saw a building, this building, the home that it could be for the residents in the future. They are the ones who would not take no for an answer, who tirelessly sold their ideas to lenders, to architects, to service providers. They saw years ago what you are seeing today. When other housing authorities approach us to see how they can be as successful as the Columbus area is, we point to that 30-year mark that said 30 years ago we had people that had a passion that maybe started in housing but thought it was a bounce-by career. 30 years later, they're still in it. But it took all of that. It took people that gave themselves as a career to commit to people who needed us for years and years and years and years, to never give up on that purpose. The commitment to our community to make that work. The second set of people that is important that I wanted to note are the residents of Hawthorn Grove. Without them, we get very busy, but this really is about them, and we get a chance to see the impact of their lives through the efforts that we do. It makes it all worthwhile. Today we see 40 residents that are in. By building a building, by surrounding it with services, by underlying it with the subsidies that we're able to provide and the funding that's there, we will provide housing for many, many, many people in the Columbus area that need it the most for many years to come. Last but not least, I just want to congratulate the Community Housing Network on opening the doors to Hawthorn and welcome the residents to Hawthorn Grove. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. And let me also say thank you to Charles Hillman, CMHA's president and CEO, who's in the audience today. Thank you, Charles. CHN's 1,800 units of housing are located in nearly every zip code of Franklin County, and that's possible only with the support of elected city officials and Franklin County Commissioners Jim O'Grady, Paula Brooks, and our next speaker, County Commissioner Marilyn Brown. Maryland's backing of supportive housing transcends voting for housing and shelter as line items in the county budget. Just as important, she gets the big picture that when CHN meets the housing and service needs of vulnerable populations, we lift up everyone in our entire community. Please welcome County Commissioner Marilyn Brown.
Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here today, and to tell you the truth, I don't do a lot of grand openings. It's not something that I do on a routine basis because I'd rather come to a place when they're opened and I can see people getting the benefit of what's happened after the grand opening. But this one was really important for me to be attending and participating in because this truly is about hope, about permanent supportive housing for our residents. And this one really makes a difference in our community. And it's about the residents who are going to get supportive housing for dealing with all of the issues that cause them to have problems. It's not about shelter. It's about permanent supportive housing with all the services, the wraparound services that matter the most to making people feel uplifted and allow them to succeed, to get out of a situation that may have caused them to not have a place of stability in their lives. That's why I'm here. That's why the Board of Commissioners has supported these projects with CHN. And truly, as you look at these project partners, we couldn't choose better partners to be with. This is what it's all about. And, you know, it does take a community of partners from the public sector, the private sector working together to make people feel uplifted, get out of a situation that maybe they did not create, likely they did not create themselves, but we have a responsibility as elected leaders, appointed leaders, to make sure that everybody is uplifted in our community. So I want to thank all of you for being here today. And I really want to see how our residents are when they're living here and feeling and getting the services they need, feeling respected, feeling like they too have a chance in this community to feel and get uplifted as we all deserve. Thank you so much.
And Marilyn, please also share our thanks with Jim O'Grady and Paula Brooks. I've mentioned the importance of public funding to Hawthorn Grove and indeed to all CHN developments, but at a cost of $7 million, Hawthorn could not be built without a public-private partnership. Now through the end of the program, we'll thank these exemplary private sector lenders who invest in improving lives and revitalizing communities. First, the Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati has been an investment partner with CHN over many years. Please welcome to the podium Jim O'Toole, Vice President Marketing, Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. If you have not heard of the Federal Home Loan Bank, that's okay. We're a bank primarily for financial institutions, primarily banks, and our mission is housing. It's to support the housing activities of our members. But we are thrilled to be here today and to be part of this program. Our role today is we provided a $500,000 non-repayable grant to the construction of this project through our members, Huntington Bank and the Arlington Bank. And so we always work through our members, and we could not find great uses of our grant money and deserving families without our members. So for that, we thank Huntington and Arlington, because we certainly couldn't do it without you. Since 1990, we have set aside 10% of our income every year to provide non-repayable grants for affordable housing. So we've been doing this a long time. And so you need leadership for a program like that. And we have great leadership at the FHLB. This is near and dear to our heart. And so for that, we have to recognize our board of directors as well as our advisory council, some of you who are here today. So Charlie Ruma, we thank you for your support of this program and leadership, as well as Jim DeRoberts on our board. And then everyone here, and I know there's several of you from our advisory council, Doug Garver, who's already spoken, Susan Weaver, a retired member, Steve Gladman and Mark Milligan. I did not see you before the meeting, but if you're here, we thank you for your leadership. And we just want to say from the Federal Home Loan Bank of Cincinnati, we feel very privileged to be part of a program like this and what it does to the lives of the individuals. That's what the Federal Home Loan Bank stands for, and so we thank you for letting us be here today. Thank you.
Jim, we look forward to developing many more projects together. Thank you. When it comes to financing affordable housing, Huntington National Bank is a standout performer. Jim Kunk, as the lender's Central Ohio Regional President, leads the charge locally for high-impact community investments like Hawthorn Grove. Thanks for joining us on this special day, Jim.
Thank you and good morning. Really glad to be part of this. I was here for the groundbreaking. It was a little nicer day than today, but it's really fun to come back and see it. And I remember looking at the pictures of what it was going to look like, and I thought, boy, this will be a terrific addition right in the downtown for housing. And it's really turned out to be all we had hoped. So today is a celebration for Hawthorn Grove and its grand opening, but it's really a celebration about these partnerships, because this wouldn't happen without the partnerships. So we're just one of a few partners. Housing is an issue in our community, and it's an issue that our bank is focused on. I think this is the third opening I've been to in the area this year, and 3 is not enough. We need to do more, and we're going to be there, and we're going to continue to partner with great organizations like we have here, and we're just very proud to be part of it. And Mayor, I want to congratulate you on this recognition, and thank you for your 16 years of terrific service. Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership and support, Jim. Huntington Bank and Nationwide Insurance are 2 great Columbus-based companies with a legacy of giving back to Central Ohio. Nationwide Insurance carries on this tradition by investing in a broad range of affordable housing, from home ownership opportunities to supportive housing. We're glad to have Nationwide as a partner. Please recognize Nationwide agent Dan Glasner.
Thank you. Like you, Commissioner, I don't get invited to many grand openings, so as a Nationwide agent, I was a little surprised when Nationwide asked me to come out today and represent them. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, that's the kind of company Nationwide really is. And really committed to our community, committed to our distribution partners, and really committed to the members. I live and have a business within about 1.5 miles of here. It'd be nice to ride our bike over here someday, Mr. Mayor, when the weather's a little better. But I see on the street here, on High Street in my office, I see exactly what this is going to do and help the community. And that's important when I see that every day and know that we have this and could be comforted by this. So, Nationwide Credit invested $2.9 million into the tax credit side of this deal. That just goes along with what kind of company Nationwide is. It's more than a business. It has that commitment as a mutual company. We're really not worried about what Wall Street thinks about these decisions. We're really concerned with what these decisions do to help impact the community that Nationwide's been proud to be part of for over 90 years with a Fortune 84 company right here. So again, thanks very much for having us today.
Dan, thank you for joining our celebration today. Our roster of speakers makes it clear that it takes a team of partners to support such a formidable undertaking as Hawthorn Grove. Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing, President Hal Keller, and President Hal Keller are instrumental in bringing projects and partners together. We are grateful to Ohio Capital Corporation for leveraging the low-income housing tax credits that attracted the private capital to take Hawthorn Grove from groundbreaking to grand opening. Please share a few words on this occasion, Hal.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? You know, rain will go, winters will come and go, but the project, the affordable housing development will be with us for the ages, and we've got to keep that in mind. We represent another part of the private-public partnership. Our role was to arrange the structure of the investment for Nationwide Insurance, a great partner. But let's talk about the development team for a minute. Community Housing Network, Berardi Partners, Rockford Homes. What it is an incredible team, the A team. So I'd like to congratulate you. As the Nationwide representative already said, we structured a $2.9 million investment out of the $7 million, about 34% of the total project costs. This is a very complicated project, and we at Ohio Capital Corporation, we love complicated projects. That's the sort of thing we do. The tax-exempt bonds from the Housing Finance Agency, underwritten by Huntington Insurance, the Adam Board at ODMH, and I might add that Susan and I, Susan's still a board member of Ohio Capital Corporation, we've been working since 1986 to try to figure out the ways capital funds get into deals, and Director Plauk, you've made it happen. The Housing Authority, the city, the county, the Federal Home Loan Bank, what a great group of partners. This is a low-income housing tax credit program, and that is a fantastic program that is at risk with tax reform if it ever happens, that shifts the burden for long-term affordability and compliance from the public sector to the private sector. It's a beautiful model, and that is decentralized. It's operated by the State Housing Finance Agency, and we are just blessed to have Doug Garver there. What a great agency, and their support of permanent supportive housing projects, what is not found in every state. I always like to point out that in addition to providing housing for those in need and supportive services that people need to get back on their feet, this is an economic development project. The people that work for Rockford, the people that work in CHN, the management side, are being paid a livable wage, and they'll spend that mayor in the city of Columbus and boost the economy. So I'd like to keep that in mind. I'd like to point out a couple of our staff people that work very hard on this. Beth Long, Brian Langmeyer, raise your hand if you're around here someplace. And Danielle Carmen is their asset manager. Thank you for your hard work on this. And once again, congratulations on this beautiful day.
I've asked Hal to stay here for a second because we're going to announce the first Development Fund Award. Many of you were on hand in April when we celebrated the career achievements of Community Housing Network's founder and CEO, Susan Weaver, as she retired from CHN. Susan shepherded Hawthorn Grove from the beginning, and I'd like to thank Susan and ask her to stand up and be recognized. Last spring, our Board of Trustees established the Susan Weaver Development Fund as a way to continue Susan's legacy of going beyond housing and addressing the physical, social, and economic needs of vulnerable people. Ohio Capital Corporation generously seeded the fund with a leadership gift of $25,000, matching CHN's board gift, and other donations have followed. With that, it is my pleasure to announce that the Board of Trustees has approved the Development Fund to create a resident empowerment program. The Resident Empowerment Program will give grants to residents who wish to improve their lives through education, training, enrichment, or other constructive means. Thank you, Hal, and other donors for these opportunities, for making these opportunities available for our residents. Before we conclude, I want to acknowledge CHN's great real estate development staff who've been instrumental in creating and realizing the vision for Hawthorn Grove over the past 2 years. Adam Rice, who I think is standing out in the rain under an umbrella, Walt Whitmire, Laurie Sutherland, and Ryan Castle. Thank you. And now please join me in one more round of applause for all today's speakers, CHN's great champions. We thank all of you who turned out today. I know the weather is challenging, to say the least. And I invite you inside for a tour and to warm up over refreshments in the community room. I hope as you tour the property, you will take pride that you helped CHN open the doors to new lives for so many people in need. Thank you all for being part of today's celebration.